Hello, you wonderful people, and welcome to another episode of Crime Centric. This being a show where I talk about TV shows that are crime dramas. For today's episode, I'm going to talk about Dark Winds, Season 2, Episode 5. A lot of really interesting things went down in this episode, so let's break it down. Well, Leaphorn is on the clock trying to get whatever information he can get out of the blonde man, which even by the end of this episode, jumping ahead a little bit, we still don't know who this guy is. We as the audience get some backstory, which I do love that juxtaposition between this episode and episode 1, where episode 1 there was the black and white, but like the blue like color shone through. This time it was red, and it was him as a little kid. He came home, found his dad dead. I'm assuming that was I'm assuming that was supposed to be his sister and not like just a music teacher or whatever. But yeah, her mom. Cause when you saw his dad dead and the TV was up so loud, I just was like, okay, so it's got to be your maybe your dad was abusive and your mom just couldn't take it anymore, or we don't know what it is, why she did that, because she didn't just kill the dad. If that is his sister, she also killed her too, because I was about to say, like, if that was like the music teacher or something, I'm like, could it be that the father was having an affair? That's what my immediate thought was, because I didn't think like, oh, that could be his sister. I thought, oh, that's probably like his music teacher or something like that, which could be the case, but maybe it is just like straight up his sister. Either way, it's like, what if that is in fact his sister? What other motives would she have other than maybe like she just finally snapped? I mean, he's not the most well-adjusted person, but to be fair, like maybe it's something he got from his mom that he's predisposed to, that just kind of like, and maybe like the trauma of that whole situation sent him spiraling, or maybe he was already kind of a little messed up, and who knows. Especially with this whole situation of like, okay, so he's looking for his mom, but we find out, nope, they reveal it near the end of the episode, his mom isn't alive, she's dead. He killed her. I mean, we heard the gunshot, we never saw it, so it could be implied, no, she's still out there. But maybe he was like, okay, the rest of my family's dead. My mom, I don't want her living with what she did, not had to do, but what she did. So I'm killing her out of a mercy. And maybe on some twisted psychology, he's thinking every person he's killing, he's freeing them. But it doesn't seem like that's the psychopathy here. It just seems like he is a hired gun of like, oh, I kill who I need to kill. That's all there is to it. Because he won't budge on anything with what Leaphorn tries to bring to his attention. It's like, right, I'm already a dead man. There's nothing I can do about it. There's nothing you can do about it either, because Joe is kind of trying to appease to him, like, just give me some answers. I can make this a little easier on you, because with everything you've got against you, you will, like, see the death penalty. But I don't know if it's a thing if he just doesn't fear death or what, but I guess it's just like, right, nothing can change that. Death kind of comes for us all. It just comes for us sooner for some than it does for others. I really like that private investigator. We got to spend a little bit more time with him in this episode. Just like how like smooth and kind of cool he is. And it's like, whoa, I had no idea. Like, wait, that guy is a murderer? It's like 4 bodies and counting? Okay. Yeah, the guy had me looking for his mom. It's like the one person he ended up finding was a Linda Maddox. And it's like, yeah, but she's too young to be his mom. I was like, what's up with that, dude? And it's like, so who the hell is he really looking for? It's like, once again, it's some like twisted psychopathy of like, what sparks this? Has he always been doing this? This is something that came up later in life. Is this a more recent thing? Because we know he's looking for people who, can find his mom, but it's like, well, we know, or at least it's implied, his mom is dead, so I guess there's some part of him that has regret over what he did, and now it's like, he's still trying to find his mom out there in the world. He finds people that look like her, but it's like, no, it's not going to be a perfect match, because like, this person's too young. That's what I'm like, what is that? Once again, everyone's kind of got their psychopathy of like, you know, a maniac like him has this thing that kind of triggers him and keeps him going. Like he has his rituals, and maybe that's part, I don't know. Like I said, it's got to be driven from like the trauma and the regrets about how that whole situation played out, you know? Like I said, I think he believes he is saving his mom, and maybe he's hoping like he can find her, and maybe he'll wake up and it was all just a dream. Maybe that's what he's hoping for on some level. I almost hope we get that private investigator back. We probably won't. This will probably be the only episode we get him again. But it's like, I don't know. I liked him and Lee Porn's back and forth. He's like, normally I charge $25 for this. And he's like, yeah, normally the feds kind of arrest someone who's associated with a murder. And it's like, you're a funny Indian or whatever. And just kind of walks away. I'm like, I don't know. I like something about that character. I was like, we hope we get to see you more, but probably won't be. This will probably be the last time we get to see you. So, but, using that PI, which I love that he's like, dude, because he was like, oh, you think I'm stupid? He's like, yeah, like I'm not so caught up in what the feds want or what the cops want, because I'm not a cop, I'm not a lawyer. You are my client though, and you asked me to do a job, so I'm doing it for you. So it's like, hey, I found your mom. I found the person that fits the description of your mom. He's like, do you think I'm stupid? He's like, dude, you killed 4 people and got caught. I'm not here for all of that. Once again, like, I'm just here to do my job. So I can give you this information. I'm sure you would want to contact her and get her here to see you before this all plays out the way it does. It's like, work with them. They'll cut you a deal and yada, yada, yada. But yeah, that's why he played them for a fiddle, because he knows on some level, he's self-aware enough to be like, oh, I know my mom's not out there, but maybe he's delusional enough to be like, you didn't actually find my mom. Like, maybe on some level he buried it and doesn't realize, oh, I killed my mom all those years ago. Maybe when he looked into that box, maybe that was just for us as the audience seeing that, or maybe that was him remembering that she's dead. Maybe he slips in and out of self-awareness of, oh, my mom's alive. Oh, wait, no, she's actually dead. Like, maybe he kind of slips in and out of it. Or maybe there's a thing of the trauma is buried so deep that even he doesn't recognize it, that he legitimately does believe his mom is still alive and well and out there, and he's looking for her. Like, who knows how much of that day he remembers. Like, maybe he remembers, like, his dad and the potential piano teacher or sister was killed, and maybe he thinks, like, oh, I let my mom get away to kind of protect her, when in actuality he killed her. I don't know. But he says the person he works for was some guy named Carl LeBeck. Then it turns out Carl LeBeck is a guy that worked at Drumco, but the thing is, he died because Lee Porn calls up his sister. It's like, yeah, he died 3 years ago, but then brings in someone that was connected to Drumco. Was like, oh, yo, that guy in your cell is Carl LeBeck. And it's like, okay, so at first I was like, wait, what? I was like, did you fake your death to get away from your sister? It's like, no, the real Carl LeBeck is dead. He killed him, stole his identity, and was able to slip into the Drumco oil situation 3 years ago because of that. And it's like, why'd you do what you did? Why those men? And it's like, he pieces it together because he was wondering, like, why is this so personal for you? Like, did I kill someone important to you, like your mother? Now it's like, oh, why are these 6 men so important? I get it. One of them was your son. And it's like, well, let me tell you why your son died. He died because he was unimportant. He was just in the wrong place at the wrong time. That's all there is to it, you know? And he gets joy from it, you know, kind of making Lee Porn sweat. And that's the sad thing with, like, a serial killer or something like that. Someone who could hold on to that information, never giving anyone closure. But I love how that works in conjunction with the scene between Joe and Emma earlier in the episode, where for him it's like, I can kind of close this. I can finally put this pain and everything that we've been through finally behind us. But for Emma, she opens up about, I thought it was nice having a baby in the house again, being able to hold a baby in my arms. And I talked about in a previous episode, it is simply for the purposes of filling that hole in the heart from losing their son. And so she's like, I didn't do it for Sally. I didn't even do it for the baby. I did it for myself. That was my way of kind of putting it behind me, but there is no putting it behind us. All we can do is go through. All we can do is carry that grief with us. That's the only way we can do it. And she's like, I get it. You got to do what you got to do. You and I, we are going through this together. We're going through that grief together. We're just going about it 2 different ways. I'm going down my route. You have to do this, to investigate this, to figure out who this guy is. You have to solve this mystery. That is your way through this, through it. No way around it, no way backwards. All you can do is, no putting it behind you. All you can do is go through it. You have to feel what you're feeling, and that's all there is to it. But both of them have I think both of them have stalled in so many capacities just because of losing JJ. So, because the sad and effed up aspect of it is simply a thing of JJ was in the wrong place. It wasn't anything like, oh, he was specifically targeted. It's like, no, he just happened to be one of 6 victims. And it's, and just for Joe, it's like, if I can get at the heart of this, if I can find out who's really responsible, it won't bring their son back. Who knows if it'll even fully give them closure, but this is something Joe needs. So, and at the same time, you have Emma having that gathering, and Mary's there, and she tells everyone, like, right, I'm here to hear your stories about that act that's meant to pass, the one that's supposed to sterilize Native women. And she's like, I'm here to listen. She's already talked to some of them, like Sally, like she did last episode, but she was saying, I'm just here to listen to your stories. And Emma was like, right, dude, you don't publish any of this without my permission. So it's going to be interesting to see how that plays out. I think that's also kind of the rough aspect of it all. Like, I mean, it wouldn't be any easier at any point in time, Mary coming into Emma's life, but I think it's also like I brought up previously that earlier, that she still got that hole in her heart from losing her son, and the Sally and her son of it all didn't really like mend that in any way. That hole is still there. She's basically trying to do a quick patchwork on her heart, and it's just like that wound is still open, and it's still bleeding. Essentially, it hasn't really scarred over yet, but it's in the process of it. And so I think Mary coming at this time, and it's just like, oh, here you are, some woman coming here trying to play white savior, but all you're doing is going to do it for a story. You're not really going to help us. You're not really going to listen. You're just going to use us so you can write a story, and then you immediately move on and forget. I think that's kind of the thought Emma had about it. There's actually kind of another little storyline in this episode that ends up connecting with Bernadette's story, where she gets her acceptance letter by the Customs and Border Patrol, and the only person who knows that she got accepted is Chi, because he ended up seeing the letter, but she never tells Joe, because she's like, right, he knows I put an application for, he doesn't know I got accepted, because she's reluctant to tell him, because it's like she already saw how much of a struggle it was just telling him. And so it's like, I'm going to be leaving him behind. She wants to resolve all this first, but it's still the thing of, especially everything Joe's going through right now, even in the aftermath of all of this, I'm going to be leaving him behind, because he is like a father figure to her, and for her, for him, I'm sure, kind of almost like how Emma I think Bernadette was always like a daughter to him, even, I think, because he's known Bernie for a while. I think even before JJ died, right? If I'm remembering, I think that came up in season 1, like, because I remember she was like, I think she was pretty tight with, I think Bernie was pretty tight with JJ as well, because he was like a brother to her. But I mean, because of all of that, like, she is reluctant to leave, but for her, she feels like she needs to leave, because for one, it's the only way I'm actually going to move up, like, in this line of work. But also, I think for her, she needs kind of something of her own, because it's like, I guess for her, it's almost like there's too much of a safety net here because leak porn's here. But it's also like, I want to prove myself. I want to, like, rise up in the ranks, and I can't really grow if I'm just stuck here the entire time. Which her and, she had this conversation where she was like, I can always come back, but he was like, what if you don't? And she's like, well, you did. It's like, yeah, but how long did it take Chi to come back? And it's only because of last season he came back. Who knows if he ever would have come back to the res if it wasn't for everything last season. So I think that's also I guess maybe from her perspective, it's like, yeah, it might take you a while to come back, but you still came back regardless, and you stayed. But it's also the thing of, but yeah, like, there's no, how much is going to change while you're gone. But I think the Dean stuff is what's going to end up convincing her to stay, because Dean's trying to hotwire another car. He's like, oh, I was trying to, hotwire it for a friend, because I wasn't stealing it, I was just getting it for a friend. It's like, why are you trying to get arrested? It's because he's getting drafted. And she's like, I served, like, obviously, like, someone in his family had served, and it's like, Lee Porter served. It's just kind of like our duty, But for Dean, it's like, why would I serve a country that won't even recognize me as an American? It's like, that is the rub of it all. It's just kind of like, yeah, serving a country that doesn't always have your best interests at heart, that you are not even like a second class citizen. You're not even recognized as a citizen. So it's like I'm fighting for a country that doesn't even recognize me. It's, you know, it's a complicated thing in that regard. So, and it's such complicated, especially in his case of, I'm the one that looks after my grandma and my sister. Like, what if I go off and I die? It's like, right, you talk to your grandma and she'll tell you the right thing to do. He's like, oh, so the right thing to do is to go to Vietnam and die? It's like, I can't, I can't, like, tell someone, like, yes, your civic, it's like, especially in a circumstance like that, you choosing willingly signing up because you feel like you're patriotic, it's your duty, that's one thing. But bringing up his point, when you look at his points, it's like, he brings up some valid points of just like, I'm being forced to leave my family behind, and they'll need me. I think it's a combination of like, hey, I am scared, but I'm more scared not of like what will happen to me. It's like, what will happen to my grandma and my sister if I don't come back, And so later on, he tells Bernie, like, if I come back, when I come back, hopefully I can do something to help the community like you do. He's like, but while I'm going, could you look after him, like check in on my grandma and my sister? She's like, yeah, even though she's doing the. But I think for her, she's going to put that on pause because it's like, right, there is still a place for me here, regardless of my. I think that's going to complicate her feelings, and she might not accept the position. She probably won't even tell Joe she got accepted. She'll probably just kind of like, no, I got to stay here because the Reds needs me. And like, I do a lot of good for the Reds. That's what Dean was like, yo, I want to come back and maybe I do what you do. Like, I want to do something good for the Reds like you do. So that might be enough motivation to kind of keep her staying here. I also love the reveal of, like, apparently she went on she dated. They never really went into specifics. She dated Elvis Presley, and it's like, really? It's like, yeah, when I was stationed in Germany, it happened, and then I guess, like, they broke up because he wanted to go more on tour and stuff. It's kind of what she was kind of implying, which I thought was interesting. At first, I was like, is she just fucking with you? It's like, no, it seems like she was dead serious, even to the point she was like, do not tell anyone about the Elvis situation, or you will be dead. And he's like, oh, that wouldn't be, that's kind of like, it's like, oh, almost like a don't threaten me with a good time type of situation. That might not be so bad. So we have that angle of it all. Then we have the People of Darkness situation because she was tailing Rosemary to different places, and she's with, I didn't recognize who she was with at one point in time until later on. I was like, oh, do we know that character? I was like, oh, I think that's the maid that works at the house. And she showed up there at the People of Darkness meeting, and I'm like, okay, why is she here? And she goes up in front of everyone and is like, BJ, I want you to heal me. And everyone's like, oh, heal her. And I'm like, he seemed reluctant. Like, I wonder, it's got to be some snake oil salesman thing of, oh, I'm pretending to heal people. And either it's like hey, heal me and I'll play this off for you. I'll legitimize you even more. Like, really, she was doing that all to distract him, sure, but I'm like, what other, like, he kind of had no choice because she kind of put him on the spot because it's like, right, you kind of have to. But it's like, yeah, it's got to be a snake oil salesman thing of, I've got control of this power and I'm healing someone, so what would be his justification? Like, I guess she'll come out and pretend like everything's okay because she didn't bring her oxygen tank with her. Like, she ended up, well, I think she did, but because it's on stage, I think, but I think she left it there and she didn't have it in her nose. Like, so I guess it's like I'm playing the role of like everything's okay when it's not, just for the purpose of selling your lie. Because the maid went and stole something from out of a tent. I'm assuming that has to be, because she didn't just carry it. It was in a bag, so maybe there's multiple things. I was thinking at first, I was like, not unless it's the box that was stolen from BJ in the first place. But I'm like, no, all those contents of that got burnt, right? So I was like, can't be that, right? So I was like, not unless it's money, because we know her money situation being what it is, it's all tied up in his BJ's. It's all, like, everything's in BJ's name. So, like, I guess she's just trying to, like, run. I don't know if the maid is going to help her. Like, she's going to get a little slice of that to kind of be able to leave and disappear. Like, I don't know if she's going to go with Rosemary, but maybe by helping Rosemary disappear, she'll be able to kind of get a little bit of that money they're stealing. We never found out what was actually in the bag, because when she came back, she was already gone. So either she just ran, leaving the bad behind and taking what was inside it, or one of the people there ended up grabbing her up. And then finally we had the ending, which the moment Senna was looking for his pen and he started touching it, I was like, that's the bastard got the pen. He's going to get out of his cuffs. I was like, I thought it makes sense why he waited as long as he did, but I thought what was going to happen was I thought he was going to immediately get uncuffed, but it's like, right, regardless of it, you're at a police station, you too many cops around, you want to wait until you're in a more advantageous situation like you are with, because they never revealed, like, oh, he had the pen, but it's like, it's got to be that. That's got to be the case, especially because they made such a point that Senna was trying to reach for one in his pocket, but it's like, oh, I guess I don't have one. I must have left it somewhere. It's like, no, that bastard took it from you. Probably to get out of his cuffs and stuff, but he ended up crashing the car. I was like, oh, please don't, because at first when Joe got the call, I was like, oh, please don't tell me Senna's dead. Luckily, he's not. Oh, I guess he didn't have time to grab Senna's weapon. I don't think so. Who knows? Because who knows if he's out there with a weapon? It might be a thing of like his hands might still be cuffed. I don't know. But he crashed a car at, well, we also know he can easily, well, not easily, but he can get his hands from behind him in front of him. He already did it before last episode. So, but he's out there. I didn't quite get one of those last shots where Joe was looking down at the car. It looked like something was like kind of opened, and I was like, is that supposed to represent he stole wiring from something? Because Joe was focusing on that earlier in the episode, the blue wires. So I guess just more about the explosive devices he made and just like the explosion at Drumco. But yeah, he's out there in the wild. Yeah, he's not surviving this. Like, Joe's not going to arrest him again. Either he's going to put Joe in a position where Joe has to put him down, or just Joe's not even going to hesitate and just, well, not a situation of not hesitating, but maybe it's just like, no, you're too much of a wild animal. You need to be put down for what you did to my son and so many others. And it's just, and maybe that's going to end up having quite the impact and effect on Joe. But we'll have to wait to see how it plays out. The next episode is the season finale. So, man, it's like, this season kind of blew by so fast. So it is kind of wild for it to be kind of already the end of the season. I mean, once again, I kind of already went into this knowing it was going to be 6 episodes like the first season, but still, it just feels like it goes by so fast. And it feels like we got so many puzzle pieces, but it just feels like we're still missing a lot. But maybe we're not missing as much as I think. I don't know. Because I'm also curious, like, how much of this is going to be 100% resolved here. I mean, because even the Drumco thing is something, I mean, that's part of Joe's past, so it's not something necessarily like the show set that up, but it's not like they set that up last season to kind of pay off in the way it is now, but it is a thing of, it is a continuous story because it's part of Joe's story. So how that all plays out, we'll have to wait to see what the season finale has in store for us. But really, that's all I wanted to talk about. Till the next time we meet, be happy, be safe, live life to the fullest, and enjoy it. Good day, and goodbye.